Hello and welcome to San Angelo Live on sanangelolive.com. I'm Yantis Green. We have a lot of headlines to get to this afternoon, but we're going to begin with the story that everyone's talking about, and that would be the wildfire in the Big Country between here and Abilene. Here's the latest. A mandatory evacuation order has officially been signed by Taylor County Judge Dowling Bowles for the following areas in and around Buffalo Gap. In fact, Highway 277 South has been shut down near View, the community of View, and Highway 89, which is the Buffalo Gap Road from 277 over to Buffalo Gap. 277, of course, is the highway that goes from San Angelo to Abilene through Bront. Meanwhile, here are a few images of the aftermath of that fire. As of this afternoon, the mesquite heat fire has burned almost 10,000 acres now and has destroyed at least 50 to 60 homes, according to Jim Ned fire officials. The blaze is currently about 10% contained, so it's still underway. Although the Big Country is expecting another 100-plus degree day tomorrow and highs in the upper 90s on Saturday, temperatures are expected to cool off. There's a cold front coming through by Sunday, high about 73 degrees with some rain chances around 60% by Monday. So maybe that'll help out with the wildfires in the Big Country and elsewhere. Other news from Reagan County in Big Lake. 80-year-old Porfirio Ortiz was arrested Wednesday and charged with 2 counts of capital murder after authorities say he killed his wife and daughter. According to the Reagan County Sheriff's Office, on May 18th, at around 4 p.m., deputies were dispatched to the 600 block of South California Street for the report of an incident with multiple injuries. Dispatch was told by the caller that he had hurt his wife and daughter. Upon arrival, the deputies discovered the bodies of 2 adult females inside the residence. A few details of how those deaths occurred have been released. Meanwhile, capital murder in the state of Texas carries a penalty of mandatory life in prison without parole or the death penalty. And campaign finance reports are out. Other news, early voting for the 2022 GOP primary runoff election is coming to a close tomorrow. That would be Friday at 7 p.m. With that, campaign finance reports have been finalized. The 2 highest money earners during this election cycle were candidates for Tom Green County Judge, Todd Coles and Lane Carter. Coles edged his opponent by collecting $5,570 more than Carter, but Coles had one donation that was worth $5,000. The most notable numbers in the other 2 runoffs comes from current Tom Green County Commissioner in Precinct 4, Bill Ford, and also from candidate for Justice of the Peace in Precinct 3, Ron Perry. Both of those candidates reported spending about $10,000 more than they collected in donations. For more, check out the article only at sanangelolive.com. And gas prices. That's the other thing everybody's talking about. As gas prices soar, you're likely wondering where you can score the most, or the least expensive, rather, gallon of gas in the city. It appears that we're at a stalemate here in San Angelo. As of noon today, this afternoon, Jack's convenience store located on North Coningheim downtown was offering the cheapest gasoline per gallon in town at $4.09 a gallon. Since then, it's climbed about 10 cents. As far as how we compare to the rest of the state, the average cost of a gallon of gas in Texas is $4.29, while the cheapest has been spotted in the Panhandle at $3.37 per gallon. Gas prices have more than doubled in the past year. To add insult to injury, a gas attendant at a local convenience store told a San Angelo Live reporter that they're expecting prices to surpass $5 per gallon by Memorial Day weekend, which of course is next weekend. And last week, in a story exclusive to San Angelo Live, it was reported that Ambleside School was closing its doors, according to a letter to parents from the school's administration. In the annual San Angelo Gives citywide online fundraising drive, the school was only able to attract over about $41,000 in donations. But it appears now that a new donor has emerged to revive the school. Coming up after the break, our very own Joe Hyde goes one-on-one with Ambleside School Board member Brian Garcia to talk about the next step for the school.
For the last 27 years as a member of the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office, I've seen my share of serious crimes and bad characters.
As your next Justice of the Peace of Precinct 3, I want to use my knowledge of the law to keep our community safe. That means ensuring that proper bond amounts are being placed on repeat offenders.
You deserve a JP who understands mental health issues, has experience in records, warrants, and affidavits, along with a proven law enforcement career.
Fair justice you can count on. Stacy Speck for Tom Green County Justice of the Peace Precinct 3.
For 6 years as an ER and OR nurse right here in San Angelo, I experienced firsthand the effects of mental illness.
According to studies, 3.3 million Texans are living with mental illness. In Tom Green County, 25% of our jail population suffers from some level of mental illness that costs us tax dollars. Using my experience and training as a healthcare professional, I have a plan to help families, which means reducing pressure on law enforcement.
I'm Lane Carter, and I'm ready to serve you as your next Tom Green County judge.
27 years ago, I began my law enforcement career right here as a jailer. Now, as the patrol lieutenant for the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office, I have made it my mission to serve our community.
That's why I'm running for Justice of the Peace, to use my knowledge and my experience of criminal and civil law to serve the people of Precinct 3. You deserve a JP who understands mental health issues, has experience in records, warrants, and affidavits, along with a proven law enforcement career.
Fair justice you can count on. Stacy Speck for Tom Green County Justice of the Peace Precinct 3.
Hey, this is Joe Hyde. Welcome back to Live. I'm here with Brian Garcia. He's a board member with the Ambleside School. Just a little bit of background before we began. Last week we reported that the Ambleside School was closing. The board of directors at the time had decided that they could not, I guess, meet their financial obligations, and they were trying to, or they were telling the parents that, the Cornerstone Christian School was a viable option. That changed almost overnight when a group of concerned parents got together and they said they wanted to save the Ambleside School. And a little background on it: Ambleside is a Christian, faith-based Christian school, private school, based on the writings of help me out with this.
Yes, Charlotte Mason.
Charlotte Mason, who was she was a Brit, and she came up with a unique way of training or teaching students as a philosophy, teaching philosophy. First of all, tell me, why is the Ambleside method important, and why is that an important option to have in San Angelo?
Right. First of all, thank you for having us here to get the word out of the good news. So the importance, and I'm glad you said that, is the philosophy of Charlotte Mason is really to cultivate character, to see children as people, as a robust person, and to encourage growth in every way. It was very important for Charlotte Mason to see children and purposing children to grow not only in mind, but in their heart, in their body, in their spirit, and in their faith or spirituality, whatever you'd like to call that. And when we can cultivate that in a child and let them bloom and blossom into their potential, the values that are in each person are the values that you will have in your world. So that is the main importance and why we are so adamant about keeping this school alive. And we believe it's very unique to San Angelo, and we're lucky to have it.
So tell us a little bit about the board. You're kind of you're setting up a separate organization now that's going to try to take the Ambleside name in San Angelo, or have you replaced the existing board? What are the mechanics of what's happening?
Right. So it's important to understand that Ambleside it's an international entity. So we are supported by Ambleside International. So we fly under that umbrella. Right now, the board is going under a transition. And it's just a change. Boards change, presidents change, things happen. I think it's important to embrace that change because not all change is bad. You take what is done by your predecessors, which they did a fantastic job. It's not easy. It's emotionally draining, mentally draining, spiritually draining. But we have taken the goodness from the history of Ambleside and we're using it just to move in a new direction. The only thing that's changing is, for the time being right now, are the board members. And tentatively, we're still in that building.
You're still in the physical location?
We're still in the physical location.
And the location, it's on, help me out, the street name.
Is it on here on Harris and...
I can't remember. It's down there by the post office.
Yes, sir. It's right where the Lily Gardens are.
Right
where the Lily Gardens are, across from the post office.
It's a wonderful facility.
It is. And right now we're trying to get the word out to San Angelo and let everybody know that we are there. We're working on our social media presence and just reinforcing the fact that we do have a strong backing from founding families, from family members. We have a student body. Teachers working with us, so we're very hopeful.
Friday, I did attend a organizational meeting for the new board, and we were trying to reorganize the Ambleside School.
Correct.
And I was actually amazed at how many people were there on a Friday night.
Correct.
A Friday night, there were 63 people in that room, and that was parents mostly. 63 parents in there, a couple kids, but mostly parents. So it seemed like there was a lot of steam behind trying to keep the Ambleside School going.
That's right. We have an incredible amount of momentum, and I want to reassure people that that are dubious of the future of Ambleside. Like, we are secure for the next 3 years. That doesn't mean that we're not going to put work in, because anything successful requires work.
Now, one of the reasons why I think the Ambleside didn't go away with this, it was almost like a death letter that went out. One of the reasons why it didn't go away is you have a lot of success stories. I mean, I met a student that was actually, I believe, at Harvard.
Correct.
So you have students that are going to the Ivy League schools, doing really well. Probably, do you have anything going to the other Ivy League? Think about the most important Ivy League school is Texas A&M. So do you have any going there? I'm just kidding. But talk about some of the success of the students who graduate there.
So. I'm glad you said success. So to hit on the point, we do have graduates from Harvard, which he was there speaking that night. We have students coming back who are devastated to hear the news. We had one from Penn State also speaking and expressing her concern and giving her story of what Ambleside meant to her. And to have them come in from out of town, we've had board members come in and fly from out of town to be on our board and represent Ambleside. But the success isn't. I'd like to point out that one of the wonderful things about Ambleside is that we don't tie, or teachers don't tie, knowledge to value. You are valued as a person. You are valued on your merits, on what you do. You're not valued as what you can memorize or what you can recite. And that, to me, is the most beautiful thing, because when I pick up my child, that's really what motivated me. And that was impetus to get me going and fight for this school. I can't see it. I can't see it go away so easily, and it won't.
The Concho Valley in San Angelo, Texas, is an attractive community to live in because of the quality of education. Primarily the pre-K all the way through, we have all the way up through ASU, in Howard College. And I think that the private schools add value to that in a big way. Tell me what are the reasons you as a parent would forego free education in a public school and spend? How much does Ambleside cost roughly?
We have a varying tuition, so depending on the grades and whatnot, that depends. But to touch on the point about public school and why what makes Ambleside great. I'd just like to say I'm a product of public school, and before going to Ambleside, I thought, I'm not so bad.
So are you an Ambleside grad?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I went to public school. I went to Bowie Central, and then I went off to to UT. And when
I'm sorry.
it happens, not everybody is created the same, and that's what's celebrated here at Ambleside. Are those differences?
But talk about the public school versus
right.
the Ambleside difference.
So we have, the differences are models, right? Public schools have a model of what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. They primarily need to teach
correct.
You
need to teach a curriculum. You need to pass this test, and the model is you have this scale, you have this gradient, right? You have top student versus bottom student. I was just talking about this earlier, and there's this unspoken undercurrent of smart kid versus kids that doesn't do so well, and we tend to, like I expressed earlier, place value on that knowledge, and that here is that playing field is leveled for children, and that's where the difference is. They're not trying to be pushed through a system to, recite things by rote.
So by placing the value on the individual student, how do you think that helps them succeed or learn more or be smarter or get into better schools or be more successful in life?
Right. It's important, and we instill in our children that success is in many things. So express yourself honestly and as consciously as possible. So if you can do that, your success is seen in your happiness, your success is in your growth, your success is in your relationships with people, your success is financial, and it extends beyond a spreadsheet, just beyond the balance sheet.
If someone wants to find out more about the new Ambleside, or you call it the new Ambleside?
No, we just
keep the same name.
Correct. Because we are part of Ambleside International.
Okay. So if someone wants to find out what's going on right now, is there a meeting coming up, or is there a way to contact the new group?
Sure. So if people want to be in contact with us, there's several ways. If you want to have immediate contact, I recommend Facebook. There's a public page where you can join. It's called Ambleside School of San Angelo. You can join that. We're going to be posting updates there, hopefully for families who are interested, and really encouraging them to come. And also, website, amblesidesanangelo.net. It'll give you a synopsis of the philosophy, and what Ambleside is about, what it can provide. If it's a fit for you, well, we'll be happy to show people around when the school is ready. Yes.
All right. So calendar. When is school out for the summer?
School is out May 27th this week.
Okay. And then you're planning on starting back up in the fall, I guess?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And approximately what day do you think that would be? End of August, early September?
End of August, early September. So we'll be available all summer. Hopefully people will get excited and look up the information. And I'm very confident that once you see the philosophy, there really is no option.
Well, this is Brian Garcia. He's with Ambleside School of San Angelo. They're doing a little bit of a relaunch, and he was trying to explain. We were explaining that in this interview. You can back up to watch it if you want to learn more. It's important that we have lots of education options for our children in the Concho Valley, because that makes this community truly an excellent place to live. And Brian, I appreciate you coming on today.
Absolutely.
And best of luck to the team there at Ambleside.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
The safety of your family
Thank
and
you,
your
Joe.
home is what matters the most. We can improve your public safety in the county by better supporting the volunteer fire departments. These brave men and women need better equipment and better facilities, and by doing so, we can lower the cost of living outside the city limits. Tom Green County needs a judge with the ideas and experience to execute this plan. I'm Lane Carter, and I'm ready to serve you as your next Tom Green County judge.
27 years ago, I began my law enforcement career right here as a jailer. Now, as the patrol lieutenant for the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office, I have made it my mission to serve our community.
That's why I'm running for Justice of the Peace, to use my knowledge and my experience of criminal and civil law to serve the people of Precinct 3. You deserve a JP who understands mental health issues, has experience in records, warrants, and affidavits, along with a proven law enforcement career.
Fair justice you can count on. Stacy Speck for Tom Green County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3.
And before we say goodbye, this week is National Police Week, as we've spoke about before. On Wednesday, we shared footage from Monday's ceremony at the San Angelo Police Department downtown. And today, we bring you a piece involving the first responders behind the scenes, and that would be the first folks to answer the phone call when you dial 911. For San Angelo Live, I'm Yantis Green.
Especially after some calls, they'll come in and thank them for being that lifeline, being that person on the other end of the radio, being able to help them with whatever situation they were dealing with.
It means a lot to be recognized. I mean, to me, it's just, coming to work every day. I don't feel like I should be, appreciated for it because I'm here to work and I'm here to do my job. I didn't come get this job to be recognized or to be appreciated like that, but I do feel like it's nice to be appreciated time to time.